Today we're diving into a question I get all the time. What kinds of inventions can you license? If you've got an idea and you're wondering whether it can be licensed to a big brand, then stick around. I'm about to break it all down for you. Hi, Lisa Lloyd here with more tips, tricks, and strategies to optimize and accelerate your invention licensing success. YouTube is an awesome free way to learn, and you can support me making more free videos just like this one when you like, subscribe, and leave comments below. First, let's talk about intellectual property, or IP for short. This is a term that you're going to hear a lot when you're navigating that world of licensing. IP refers to creations of the mind, things like inventions, designs, and even brand names. Basically, if you come up with a unique product or process and protect it with a patent, trademark, or copyright, that's IP. And when it comes to licensing, you're essentially renting out the rights to your IP to a company that can manufacture, distribute, and sell it, paying you royalties in return. Think of it like giving someone permission to use your idea while you keep the ownership. Now, let's talk about brand licenses for a moment, because there's an important distinction here. I get this all the time. Brands, they have value that lie in its perception, how customers feel about that brand. And it takes a lot of time, effort, and yes, money to build that kind of recognition and trust. So brands spend millions, if not billions, to develop their identity, making their logos and names, marketing even the color schemes or symbols of quality, status, or reliability. So, if you're an inventor and you're thinking about trademarking your product, consider this carefully before spending a lot of time and money on it. Trademarks in themselves don't carry much value unless you've already invested in building a recognizable brand around that trademark. Companies are unlikely to pay for a trademarked name that doesn't have any established value or recognition in the marketplace. In product licensing, companies usually prefer to use their own well-established brands and trademarks rather than paying for the rights to use yours. So, before diving into trademark registration, make sure that it's something that aligns with your broader strategy and not just something that you think companies will want to license. In most cases, they won't. Okay, so now let's get to the main event, product licensing. This is where most inventors want to focus their attention anyway. Product licensing involves coming up with a physical product or concept and then licensing it to a company that's interested in bringing it to market for you. The company takes on the production, the distribution, the marketing, and all of that back office stuff while you sit back and collect royalties. Sounds great, right? But not all products are created equal when it comes to licensing. So let's talk about what types of products are typically licensable. There's a link below to schedule a free call, and I recently had a wonderful chat with an inventor that had a new formula for coffee as well as a new type of health lozenges. Those are great lines to build as a business, but generally they are not licensable. We had a great talk, and he was left with the decision for whether he would prefer to license or to start a new venture with those ideas. So what types of products can you license? Generally, companies are looking for inventions that are easy to manufacture, solve a problem, and have mass appeal. Think of things like household gadgets, kitchen tools, toys, or even pet products. Items that can quickly be produced at scale and then hit the store shelves with minimal risk. These are products that lend themselves well to licensing because they have a really broad market potential and a relatively straightforward process for production. It's a relative short list of companies generally that do not fall under the licensing model, so let's just review those instead. If you have innovations in any of these categories, you may want to look for a startup accelerator in your area that will help you build a business and commercialize those ideas. So first off, technology. Now, I know many inventors get excited about the idea of creating the next big tech breakthrough, but the reality is that technology products are highly complex. They require extensive research and development, testing, and significant amount of capital just to bring a prototype to life. The tech world is driven by innovation, but large companies tend to invest heavily in their own R&D departments rather than licensing from independent inventors. There's also the issue of intellectual property. Patenting tech innovations can be expensive and complicated because you often have to prove that your technology is both novel and useful. Tech companies are more likely to license software or hardware solutions that have already been extensively developed and are market ready. So, while tech is exciting, it's often not the best field for the typical inventor who wants to license, especially if you're working alone or with limited resources. Apparel and fashion accessories is another industry where inventor licensing isn't very common. Why? Well, fashion is fast-moving and trend-driven. It's all about branding and style. And most companies in this space rely on their in-house designers to keep up with the challenging and changing trends. They're not looking to license inventions, but rather to produce fresh designs that fit their brand's image and, of course, their seasonal collections. Moreover, fashion is often about the brand itself, not necessarily innovation in terms of products' functions. So consumers buy clothes and accessories because of the brand's reputation or because it's just something trendy, not necessarily because it solves a specific problem or offers functionality. Licensing works better for industries where the product itself is solving a problem or meeting a consumer need. In fashion, those elements are less important, so it's not an industry that aligns well with inventor-driven product licensing. So if you have a new kind of vest that does something really novel, I could see where the functionality comes in, but that industry at large is not set up for traditional licensing from inventors. Lastly, let's talk about consumables and formulas like my friend that I spoke with earlier this week, like food and beverages and cosmetics. Also cleaning products, by the way. Now, this category can be especially tricky. Consumable products are highly regulated and often require extensive testing to ensure that they're safe for consumers, right? Whether it's food that the FDA needs approval for or a cosmetic formula that has to meet strict safety standards, bringing these products to market is a long and expensive process. Companies that specialize in consumables often prefer to develop their own internal formulations as they have all of the infrastructure to handle the product testing, all of that regulatory compliance stuff, and mass production. While there are some exceptions to this rule, like maybe unique or ready-to-market formulas or consumable products with an established track record already, licensing in this category is rare. Companies are much less likely to take risk on an unproven formula, especially when it involves the complexities of testing and regulatory approval. If you've created a consumable product, you're likely going to need to have it well developed, tested, and possibly even on the market before a larger company would even consider a licensing deal. So, to wrap up, while many products are great candidates for licensing, especially those that are easy to manufacture and solve a very clear problem, some industries like tech, fashion, and consumables are less suited to the traditional inventor licensing model. The complexities, branding needs, and regulatory hurdles in these fields mean companies will often prefer to develop solutions in-house rather than license from individual inventors. But don't be discouraged. Knowing where your invention fits best will help you focus all of your efforts and find the right opportunities. Being an inventor can be tough and confusing at times. I'm here to help. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Or if you'd like someone, maybe like one-on-one advice instead, then book a free call below with me. And if you're curious to learn about my Ninja Inventor training, then please check out the links below to learn more. Let's tackle this journey together and turn your ideas into reality.